In a man's life, there are countless important choices: choosing a career, choosing friends, choosing a path to success. Yet perhaps the most profound and lasting decision is this: choosing a life partner. A wise and virtuous wife does more than bring warmth to the household. She becomes the pillar of strength to weather the storms of life. The stories you are about to hear are not merely folk tales, but mirrors reflecting an eternal truth. The greatest investment a man can ever make is choosing the right wife. Long ago, in a small village surrounded by rice fields and ancient banyan trees, there lived an old man named Zhang. He had 4 sons. The 3 eldest were already married, while the youngest remained single. To Zhang's deep sorrow, his older sons were simple-minded. They married wives who were equally clumsy and slow-witted. Whenever something needed to be done in the household, they made mistakes. Whenever an opportunity for prosperity appeared, they failed to seize it. Watching this, the old man's heart grew heavy. He was nearing the end of his life, and he feared, when I am gone, who will guide this family? How will my sons survive with such foolish wives? Thus, he made a vow: before he passed away, he would find a clever and capable wife for his youngest son. Only then could the family legacy continue. One day, Zhang summoned his 3 daughters-in-law. With a smile he said, "It has been long since you visited your mother's homes. Today I grant you leave. Go back for a few days." Sparkles, don't forget to hit like, thumbs up, support and subscribe to Voices of the Mekong. Sparkling heart, speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to us. Folded hands, thank you so much for your support. The women were delighted and asked, "Father, how many days may we stay?" Zhang replied mysteriously, "The eldest daughter-in-law may stay 3 to 5 days. The second may stay 7 to 8 days. The youngest may stay 15 days. But remember, though you leave together, you must also return together." The 3 daughters-in-law looked puzzled, but nodded. Then Zhang added another challenge: "When you return, bring me gifts. Eldest, bring a red radish. Second, bring a paper package of fire. Youngest, bring a beautiful 3-cornered item. Only then will I open the door for you." The 3 women, too naive to question, cheerfully agreed and set out. Yet, when they reached the crossroads outside the village, reality struck. How could they all return together if their days of leave were different? And where would they ever find such strange gifts? At once they burst into tears, sobbing loudly. Their cries reached a nearby household. The master of that house, Wang, had a daughter named Xiao-Cuo. She was known for her wit and sharp mind. Hearing the commotion, she came out to ask what had happened. After listening to their tale, Xiao-Cuo laughed softly. "Oh, is that all? This is not difficult. Eldest, your 3 to 5 days means 3 times 5 equals 15 days. Second, your 7 to 8 days means 7 plus 8 equals 15 days. The youngest was already told 15, so you all return together after 15 days. As for the gifts, a red radish is simply a chicken egg. The yolk is as red as the sun. A paper package of fire is a lantern, fire wrapped safely in paper. A 3-cornered item is a block of tofu, which is always cut into neat corners. These are all common household things. Nothing to fear." The daughters-in-law suddenly understood, their eyes wide with admiration. They thanked Xiao-Cuo again and again, and went happily to their mother's homes. 15 days later, they returned with the exact gifts. Zhang was astonished. He knew at once that his 3 foolish daughters-in-law could not have solved the riddle alone. When pressed, they admitted the truth. It was Xiao-Cuo. Zhang's heart leapt. He must meet this clever girl. To test her, Zhang went to the marketplace, to Xiao-Cuo's family butcher shop. He said, "I want meat where skin clings to skin. Skin beats against skin, lean without bone, and fat without skin." Any ordinary girl would be baffled, but Xiao-Cuo calmly wrapped 4 parcels and handed them over. Pig's ear, skin clings to skin. Pig's tail, skin beats against skin. Pig's liver, lean without bone. Pig's stomach, fat without skin. Zhang opened the parcels, and his eyes glowed with satisfaction. This was the daughter-in-law he had been searching for. Soon after, Xiao-Cuo married his youngest son. In time, Zhang entrusted the household to Xiao-Cuo. She managed accounts, organized supplies, and made decisions wisely. The family prospered under her care. But the 3 elder daughters-in-law grew resentful. "Father-in-law favors her above us," they whispered. To silence doubt, Zhang devised one last trial. He summoned all 4 daughters-in-law and said, "Prepare me 2 dishes. From 2 ingredients, create a dish of 10. From 2 ingredients, create a rice dish of 7. Whoever succeeds shall manage this household." The 3 elder daughters-in-law shook their heads. Impossible, but Xiao-Cuo accepted. She fried eggs with chives and steamed rice with mung beans. Zhang frowned. "I asked for 10 ingredients. And 7. Where are they?" Xiao-Cuo smiled. "Chives are called ju, which sounds like the number 9. Add 1 egg, and you have 10. Mung beans are called lu, meaning 6. Add 1 measure of rice, and you have 7. Zhang laughed in delight. Before all, he handed Xiao-Cuo the keys of the household. None could object. But fate was not done testing Xiao-Cuo. One day, Zhang proudly painted on his gate the words, "In this household, we need no help from others." A local magistrate happened to pass by. Seeing the words, he grew angry. Such arrogance! Arrest this old man. When Zhang was brought before him, the magistrate sneered, "If you claim such ability, then within 3 days bring me 3 things. A calf born of an old ox, a jar of oil that fills the entire sea, a black cloth large enough to cover the sky. Fail, and you shall be punished for deceiving an official." Zhang despaired, unable to eat or sleep. But Xiao-Cuo comforted him. "Do not worry, father, let me handle this." 3 days later, when the magistrate returned, Xiao-Cuo stepped forward calmly. "Where is the old man?" the magistrate barked. "He is not here," she replied. "What? Has he fled?" "No, sir," she said. "He has gone to give birth." The magistrate shouted, "Nonsense! Men cannot give birth." Xiao-Cuo answered coolly, "If men cannot give birth, then how can an old ox bear a calf?" The magistrate was stunned, but pressed on. "Then bring me the jar of oil that fills the sea." "Of course," said Xiao-Cuo, "but first, drain the sea of water. Only then can I fill it with oil." The magistrate flushed red with embarrassment. "Fine, forget that. But the last task, bring me a black cloth to cover the sky." "Tell me, sir," Xiao-Cuo asked, "do you know how wide the sky is?" "Of course not. No one does." "If you do not know," she replied, "then how can you demand cloth to cover it?" The magistrate had no answer. Humiliated, he stormed away. From that day on, the village whispered with awe, "In Zhang's house lives a daughter-in-law clever enough to humble even an official." Thus, old Zhang's family was saved, not by his wealth or strength, but by the wisdom of one woman. The lesson is clear: the greatest investment a man can make is choosing the right wife. A clever, capable partner not only secures the household, but also preserves honor, solves crises, and ensures harmony for generations. Wealth may fade, strength may weaken, but with the right partner, a man's life remains steady and his family strong. Long ago, in the county of Qingyang, there lived a peculiar old man. Every morning he sat before the gates of the wealthy Wang household, shaping little clay figurines to sell. Children often gathered around him, fascinated by the tiny people that sprang from his fingers. The old man had a curious rule. Whenever he molded a male figure, he would also mold a female. Then, before the eyes of the onlookers, he tied the two with a strand of red thread and declared, "You and you, one day you shall be husband and wife." To those with money, he sold the figures for a few coins. To those without, especially crying children, he gave them freely, and so the villagers called him half-mad, half-saint, perhaps even a servant of Yue Lao, the matchmaker god who governs human fates. One day, 9-year-old Wang Hao, the youngest son of the Wang family, approached with a mischievous grin. "Grandfather," he said, "tell me, who shall be my wife when I grow up?" The old man chuckled and, with a twinkle in his eye, decided to tease the boy. He pointed to a clay figure of a little girl and declared, "You shall marry Su Wan, the daughter of the Su family at the end of the village." At once Wang Hao's face twisted in disgust. The Su girl was infamous, dirty, ragged, forever sniffling with a runny nose. Wang Hao spat. "She is filthy. I will never marry such a wretched girl." From that day forward, whenever he saw Su Wan, he bullied her. Sometimes he mocked her clothes. Sometimes he tripped her in the street. Once, hiding behind a corner, he shot a pebble from his slingshot and struck her forehead. The wound left a small scar above her brow, a permanent mark of his cruelty. Wang Hao hated the thought of fate binding him to her, and in his young arrogance, he believed he could escape destiny. One summer afternoon, while Su Wan was playing near the riverbank, Wang Hao followed, his heart brimmed with resentment. If she disappears, he thought, then surely fate cannot bind me to her. With a sudden shove, he pushed her into the rushing waters. The girl screamed as the current swept her away. Wang Hao stood frozen, heart pounding, then whispered, "It's done, now I am free." From that day, he forced himself to forget. He buried the memory under his studies, determined to rise in rank, to win glory in the imperial examinations. Years passed. At 18, Wang Hao traveled to the capital to sit for the exams. Sailing down the Yangtze River, his boat, old and fragile, began to leak. Within hours it sank beneath the waves. Wang Hao could not swim, clinging desperately to a floating plank. He thought death was near, but fortune favored him. A grand vessel approached, belonging to none other than the imperial prime minister. The crew hauled him aboard. There, among the travelers, was a young woman. Wang Hao glanced at her and felt a strange tug of recognition. Her features stirred a memory he could not place. She was graceful, poised, her forehead flawless. Surely I have never met her, he thought, and yet, he traveled with them to the capital. At the examinations, Wang Hao's brilliance shone. His essays were bold, his arguments keen. The emperor himself praised him as a once-in-a-century talent. Wang Hao was named Zhuangyuan, the highest scholar in the land. He was granted a mansion, titles, and honor. His name spread swiftly, and people bowed as he passed. The prime minister, recalling how fate had delivered Wang Hao into his care on the river, grew fond of the young man. Seeing his talents and noble bearing, the prime minister thought, this youth would make a worthy husband for my beloved daughter. And so he visited Wang Hao. My son, he said, I have an only daughter, close to your age. Your future is bright, your character strong. Will you marry her? Wang Hao bowed deeply. To wed the daughter of my benefactor would be my greatest honor. The betrothal was sealed. The wedding day came with splendor. Officials in silken robes, scholars with ink-stained fingers, generals in armor, all gathered to witness the union. Drums thundered, firecrackers exploded. The procession glowed like a festival of stars. In the bridal chamber, with incense curling and lanterns glowing, Wang Hao lifted the red veil of his bride. His breath caught. The woman before him was the same girl from the prime minister's ship, radiant, delicate, her smile like spring blossoms. He laughed with joy. My wife, how fortunate I am. And to think, when I was a boy, an old man once joked that I would marry the filthy Sioux girl of our village. What nonsense that was. You are far too beautiful to be her. The bride's expression darkened. She lowered her eyes and whispered, Husband, I am that girl. I am Su Wan. The world seemed to tilt. No, Wang Hao stammered. That cannot be. Su Wan bore a scar on her forehead. Your brow is smooth and fair. Tears welled in her eyes. The scar remains. Each day I conceal it beneath powder. Do you not remember, the boy with the slingshot? That was you. And worse, one summer, a shove into the river. I nearly drowned, but the prime minister and his wife saved me. Childless, they adopted me as their daughter. That is why I am here today. Your wife by heaven's decree. Her words struck him like thunder. His knees weakened, memories rushed back, the cries by the river, the guilt he had buried. He collapsed before her, trembling. Wife, forgive me, I was a foolish child, blinded by arrogance. Spare me, I beg you. Do not reveal this to father-in-law. If he learns the truth, I will be ruined. Su Wan turned away, silent for a long while. At last she sighed, though your sins cut deep, we are bound now as husband and wife. I shall not destroy you, but you must promise, every morning you shall help me cover this scar. And every day of your life you shall love me faithfully. Grateful beyond words, Wang Hao vowed with tears. Until death, my heart shall belong only to you. From then on, Wang Hao kept his promise. He cherished his wife, honored her wisdom, and never strayed. Their love grew into a tale sung by storytellers, whispered at village gatherings, remembered for generations. The villagers said, you may resist fate, you may despise it, but destiny will find its way. The red thread may stretch or tangle, yet it never breaks. The tale of Wang Hao and Su Wan reminds us, fate cannot be outrun, even cruelty and denial cannot sever heaven's thread. Past wrongs must be faced. Love sometimes begins with forgiveness. The right partner is more than beauty or wealth. It is endurance, patience, and destiny intertwined. And so, just as in old Zhang's tale, we learn again, to choose the right wife, or to be chosen by fate for the right one, is the greatest fortune a man may ever know. Through these two tales, we learn that the true measure of happiness and success in life lies not only in talent or wealth, but in the partner who walks beside us. A wise and loving wife can transform hardship into triumph, safeguard honor, and nurture love until it becomes legend. Whether by careful choice or by destiny's design, every marriage carries the power to shape an entire lifetime. So cherish the one who holds your hand, for they may well be the most precious gift heaven has given you. Sparkles, don't forget to hit like, thumbs up, support and subscribe to Voices of the Mekong. Sparkling heart, speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to us. Folded hands, thank you so much for your support.